playoffs and didn't want
Oh, didn't want to
use
show
like
'em.
full game plan.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of stuff that the Eagles have hidden up their sleeve that
Also,
they didn't show.
but it could also be that their starting quarterback has an injured throwing shoulder.
First
Yeah.
performance from
This
your
is
Wi-Fi.
this is brutal. They know that we need to get these out before the games. They're brutal. All right. What were you saying though?
Vegas is shutting us down.
They are. Yeah, they don't want the picks. They don't want the locks getting leaked out there. So I mentioned the throwing shoulder. Your eyes perked up. You started to
Well,
say
I said
something.
that's the reason I'm
Yeah.
taking the Giants because
Yeah.
that terrified. Like I have seen myself this year
Oh, you got to be kidding me, bro.
on this podcast go from
Oh.
what?
Nothing. I thought you froze for a second, and I was like,
Oh.
all right.
At the start of the season, it was like Hurts. I don't trust him. He's not the guy. Like the team success rests on him. To like, I don't know. They just have a good team. I was all in on Hurts.
Yeah.
And we saw Minshew, and it was like, well, let's see how they play without him. And they lost 2 games in a row. And still, people were like, oh, I don't know, like, if Hurts is really that good of a quarterback. Like, this offense is just really good. He's what makes this team so good.
He is.
Like,
And if
obviously,
they
the
don't
rest of the
have
roster
that,
is what makes them a Super Bowl contender. But you need Jalen Hurts to be Jalen Hurts if you're going to go win a Super Bowl.
he's the spoon that stirs the drink, or whatever the hell the saying is. The straw that stirs the drink. He runs the offense. He's everything for this team to score a bunch of points. And if he's not 100% healthy, I'm not convinced that they can go up against this Giants team who's hungry. They are hungry.
Did you see Daniel Jones did the gritty at practice?
Oh, I did. I saw all that stuff. Like all of them dancing and stuff. And that's what I want to see.
That kind of reminds me of the boat picture a little bit.
Oh, you think? You think the dancing is like
I
the
hope it would be a real shame if they were to get caught in another one of those situations.
That is funny. If they get blown out, everyone's gonna look to those videos. Oh, maybe if they weren't dancing at practice, and it would have been going. I just think this team it's weirdly a likable Giants team.
I know. Well, I don't like Thibodeau.
You don't like him? I think I thought he was an exciting rookie. But
Well, I don't like him first because of what he did to my team. And then there was the Foles incident where he's doing snow angels.
he didn't. He had no idea.
Dude, he looked over.
All right, I guess we didn't discuss that.
Watch the clip again. He's doing it, and he looks over, and then he like continues
Just keeps
to
doing
do
it. Oh,
it's a bad. And then he apologized for it.
huh? Didn't he
First,
say he
was
didn't
like,
know who
"Ah,
Jeff
it's
Saturday was?
football," and- Yeah,
He was like, yeah, I don't know who Jeff Saturday is.
yeah. So I think he's a clown. I think he's a really good football player, but I think he's the clown. But everyone you can't not like Daniel Jones.
No, and the comeback story too is the best part about it.
I
He
know.
was buried. He was done for. They didn't give him his 5th-year option, which is the easiest thing to give to first-round quarterbacks.
happens.
Yeah, it happens to guys like Sam Darnold, and God, sorry, the coffee.
Manziel.
Yeah, Manziel. And like even the Kenny Galladay, the memes, that just makes him likable too. Like the fact that they're doing it without him, who they paid all this money for.
Like Isaiah Hodgins is the best receiver on the team.
Yeah, Richie James. Like these guys are just and their defense.
And Saquon, of course. Like
that's
not
the thing.
a more likable guy.
No.
In the NFL. Even when he was at Penn State, like I
already
it's my
knew.
least favorite school.
Yeah.
And he's just so cool.
No, I already knew once he was getting drafted. I was like, no matter where he gets drafted, I'm gonna freaking love Saquon.
Yeah.
And it's funny, if he wasn't a Giant, I'd probably have a jersey of Saquon. Like Saquon's just so cool. And yeah, I want to see him succeed. I'm excited that he's in the playoffs. I want to see him succeed. So minus what? Plus 7.5?
Yeah.
Let's ride. All right.
It's old school divisional game too, which throughout all of our analysis, still 7.5 is too much for a game like this.
Oh, that's far
The
too much.
NFC beast game.
Yeah, that's the other thing. NFC, 2 divisional teams coming up against each other. That is a recipe for plus 7.5. And the best part is they gave us the point and a half, or the half a point. They gave us that point, and that's gonna be. I mean, they could lose by a touchdown right at the end. Be fine.
Yep.
All right. Next game tomorrow. The rematch. The Damar Hamlin game. Bengals at Bills. As much as we hate to say this, we're taking the Bills -5.5. I
And
just think
it's
they're
really, for
what?
me, it's because the line is so big. You know
There's
something.
something up.
Like, I feel like
There's
this
definitely
might be
something
a
up.
big Bills win.
The other issue with me is that the Bengals just like their whole offensive line's injured, and I just can't get past it.
And it's a good pass rush.
It is, and it's a pass rush who's been struggling, and this is like the type like they don't have a right guard or their starting left tackle, and they've already had injuries on the offensive line throughout the whole year. They get this is like a let's see what you're made of, Bengals,
Mhm.
and sadly, as much as I want to ride it, because I love Joe Burrow and I love the
Yep.
story of last year, and I want to see him go back to the Super Bowl or back to the championship, but I just don't see it happening. This is also it's
No,
also
and
the Demar like the emotion part of the game.
yeah.
It matters for football, emotion,
Mm.
and coming in playing the same team Demar got hurt on, he's gonna do something for pregame, and it's all the writing's on the wall.
Yeah. And well, it's also like this Bills team is all around better than the Bengals. There's a reason why they were the Super Bowl favorites, and why the
hmm
Bengals weren't even picked to win the division. The only thing that worries me is like the Bengals just find ways to win games sometimes.
The only
Last playoffs and last week.
The other thing
Even
that worries me is Josh Allen. Is he gonna be this
I
turnover machine
I
again?
kept calling him a fraud last week.
Yeah, it's exactly.
That
Is he gonna?
game.
He had a bad game against. I know he had 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, but his interceptions and his fumbles weren't good.
I honestly think my take on it is, after I was allowed myself to calm down and stop calling him a fraud, was they dodged a bullet
Yeah,
last week. That was a bad game, and now they're woken up
that's what I think
and they're
too.
gonna
I
play
think
like the best team in the NFL, which
yeah,
they are. Like they
yeah.
have been since week 1.
They with Allen, I think he's the type of guy where he sees that like he's not gonna see that performance and be like, oh, we got the win anyways, like we'll be fine. Like he's the type of guy who's like gonna watch the film, make sure he doesn't do this stuff again, and he wants to win just as much as everyone else on the team. So
Mhm.
the I think you're right. They're playing as the best team in the NFL since week 1. That's what we've been calling them. So let's play it that like that's how they need to play.
And they finally have the home crowd in Buffalo. I mean, I know they did last week, but like this is the first. Like last week was supposed to be a stinker. This is like the first huge playoff game played in Buffalo, right? 'Cause those Chiefs games last 2 years were in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yes, they played the Ravens the one year at divisional round, but it was COVID.
Yeah, you have a good
This
point.
is
I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point. They
starts at
haven't
3. Those guys are gonna be up at 5
oh,
a.m.
yeah, they're gonna be hammered
It's gonna
by
be a
3.
madhouse.
They're gonna be hammered by 3.
I haven't
Uh,
checked the weather either. I'm just curious. Not that it
that
matters that
actually is a good
much,
point. I wonder what the weather is.
because Cincy's cold as well.
Also, I know this is
Have
it's
a
probably
look.
bad gambling mindset.
Oh, 80% chance of snow.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be
That would
so
be so
awesome.
much fun.
36 degrees. 36 is
It's pretty damn
summer
cold.
day for Buffalo.
Summer day.
So
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
expecting like 12.
that's fair.
Global warming.
The this might be bad gambling advice, but when I see like the lines of like 5.5, it's like all I think about is like, oh, late game touchdown, they're fine.
Yeah.
Like late game touchdown, they're
They
good.
put
They're
the
fine
game
to
away
go.
late and
Yeah,
an easy cover.
yeah, it could be an easy cover. So that's kind of that's what I love about the line too. And you're right, it is a stinky line. The five and a
Mhm.
half. We mentioned it before when we were discussing. So all the public money's on the Bengals plus 5.5, and I think a lot of people are giving this. They're worried about how the Bills looked last week, which I would agree. They looked pretty iffy. I mean, we talked about it on the pod. They gave up 31 to Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins, but I just
They
think
also showed how dominant they could be in the first
yeah,
quarter. Like they ran up on the Dolphins, right down and scored twice. What was it? It was 17-0, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess like there's probably a little bit of complacency there.
No, and as you said, you're right. They like going in, it was supposed to be a blowout. I mean, people don't get up for those games. The
Mhm.
Everyone on the team will be up for this game. Every single person. And I think it matters. I think that matters a lot.
And we're talking about how the Bills didn't look good last week. The Bengals
Yeah, the
were a
Bengals didn't
punch of
they
the
were
ball away from
yeah,
losing that game.
to a backup
That doesn't
quarterback that
happen.
was much worse than how Skylar Thompson performed. There, like
Yeah.
Joe Burrow had a bad game. You're right. Joe Burrow had a bad game last week, and their offense mustering up 17 points is pretty bad.
The offensive line stuff, very concerning.
It is. It is, and it's been bad all year. So the fact that now it's injured, it's not great. All right,
Like, who's the backup to the already shit?
already garbage
offensive guard?
offensive, yeah, offensive line.
Yes. It's like, oh, how much worse could it get? It can get a lot worse.
It could get worse.
I've seen this with my team before.
Yeah,
Where
could
the
definitely
already
get worse.
bad offensive line gets hurt, and it does get worse.
All right, Chris, explain the last pick since you didn't want to jinx it.
We're gonna take the over in the Cowboys-Niners game. What was it, 46.5?
I think it's just 46. 46 straight. Oh, now it's a
46?
half. Yeah, now it's a half. All right, 46 and a half.
Okay. We're looking at like 27-20 game like
Yeah.
that. That's all we need. I didn't want to make a pick because I have so much emotion riding on this game because I can't stand to see the Cowboys go to an NFC Championship. So I didn't want to take the Niners and jinx it. I didn't want to bet on the Cowboys again to try to like emotionally hedge myself. So I don't need money on this game to care about it. The over will be fun. Like the 49ers have so many playmakers that I feel like any game they could just score 35 points no matter who they're playing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they looked really good last week. Which kind of worries me.
It's funny. It always seems like the guy in the wild card round that overperforms or, does the best. It seems like they always sometimes teeter off in the next round. So that could be a good sign for you.
I hope
And
so. Not Flacco.
yeah, not Flacco. I don't think Dak is Flacco though. So he did have. I mean, he had a great game last week,
He looked
and
really good.
the running attack was good. But this Niners team, I mean, I've been on them this whole time. I believe as if I were to pick not an over, I would go with the Niners. I wouldn't take any spread because I think it's gonna be a close game. So, but Niners, I just think. I mean, it's all coming together. This Brock thing is just a story. Like the NFL needs it. The NFL is a league of stories, and to keep this story going would be probably their biggest
Do you
wish.
think they'd rather have the Niners in the Super Bowl than the Cowboys, though?
It's funny, both big brands, both great in the 90s and 80s. I mean, this is like an old school. I love if you look at the NFC divisional round, it's like an old school 80s divisional round where it's
Oh, yeah.
we got two Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, not like these are all massive
The
brands.
NFC East ran the NFC in the 80s and 90s.
And here it is, the beast is back.
Yep.
And it's funny, I mean, your Commanders could have been right there. They were a game away from being right there. And yeah, I guess at this point, why even bring it up? But
I was watching RG3 highlights when I got up this morning.
really? It's pretty damn bad. But the Niners, I mean, there's not much I could say just besides how much I love this team. That's all I could really say is that I just absolutely adore this team. And their defense is great. Their weapons are amazing. And the issue is if the clock strikes midnight and Purdy turns into a pumpkin.
Right. Well, the thing with Purdy that I'm worried about is I worry about him going up against like a really
Parsons?
well-coached team.
You think that's the Cowboys?
No.
Okay.
Which is why I'm confident.
Alright.
Like, which is why I am partly confident. But like against the Giants or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Like if they get to the Super Bowl and
If the Giants make it a Super Bowl after, dude, we had so many discussions on the pod throughout the year. Just like at first, it was like, how did this team not make the play? Like we were like at the beginning of the year, we were like, this team's like gonna make the play. We have to accept that the Giants are gonna make the playoffs. And then halfway through the year, I remember you looking at
very
you were like, the roadmap. I mean, it doesn't look like they're gonna make it.
good.
And now
I
it,
love like we should go back and do like a year in review when we just pick out like top 5 times we were wrong about
yeah,
stuff. Because
yeah,
there's so many moments through a 18-week season.
it's too
Like we
long.
said that Steelers were the worst team in the
Yes,
NFL
we
in like week 6, and then they finished with a winning record.
the league is too long. There's way too many games. And that's not just our podcast. Let's give us some credit. It's every podcast in
Oh
the
yeah, no.
world.
And it's
Everyone,
every NFL fan. Like
yes.
nobody watches week 1 and they know that like the Giants are gonna face the Eagles in the
Yeah,
divisional
in the
round.
divisional
They have no
round.
clue.
Yeah. That's what
And
makes it
going
so
back on
great.
like wins that you think were big wins that you're like looking back and you're like that really wasn't that impressive.
No, like when the Pats almost beat the Packers, I was like, "Oh, like this is
Right.
great,
Yeah,
great
like dude,
loss,
Zappe
like
is
right
the
there."
guy.
Yes. And then it's like, actually the Packers suck ass and they should have won that game by 5 touchdowns.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that what were we even talking about before the prediction, segment. Anyways, Niners, the only thing that I'm worried about is if Purdy turns back into a backup quarterback because
Yeah.
we've seen this
It's possible.
We've seen this many times before. People drink the Kool-Aid, they get all excited. It's the old Mike White situation. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you come into a big game, you expecting it to be a big game, and he comes in and lays an egg. I hope he doesn't, but that would be my only worry about this 49ers game.
Yeah. So something that is encouraging is last week he did not look good to start the game.
No, and he bounced
He
back.
was missing throws. Maybe if he looks like that against the Cowboys, they're gonna be in trouble. But because it's the Seahawks, they hung around. Like they were down 1 at halftime, right?
Yeah.
And then it was just a wash in the second half. Like he was perfect. So I think that's big for his confidence. It's like it's clear that the moment's not going to be too big for him because he struggled at first and was like, all right, like we're cool, I got this.
Yeah,
Now
he
he's
can
gonna be
catch
a
his
little more
breath.
chill. Obviously, this game has bigger stakes and it's a much better defense. But I think that is big. That's not something to just ignore. It's like the Trevor thing that we talked about.
Yeah, I
and the whole
agree.
Jags thing.
Mhm.
It could be different if they just came in and they coasted to a win, but they faced adversity. I'm a big like, let's see how they handle adversity.
Yeah, no, it's what
Uh-huh.
is that? Iron sharpens iron, and like you see it makes them better. If they have to play down and be down, and you're right, they were down at halftime. That's something that you know freaks out a lot of teams. So when you go in and you take care of business that second half, it's a great sign. And you go in at halftime against the Seahawks, you're like, what are we doing here? Like, whether or not we were favored by whatever. Uh, we're supposed to be killing these guys, and the fact that they could regroup themselves, catch their breath, get it back out there, and then take care of business, it's a compelling sign. So I'm excited to see it. We got to give some Cowboy credit though; they did look really good, and their running attack's great. I mean, the Tony Pollard Zeke is like a 1-2 punch that's I feel like we haven't seen in a couple years, and their issue is that their wide receivers are garbage. Besides CeeDee Lamb, that's what I would be worried about. Like they relied way too heavily on T.Y. Hilton last game. It felt like
The fact that he's there is just
no, yeah,
I forget every week, and
yeah.
then somebody reminds me, and I'm like, Hilton is on
No,
the Cowboys?
it's not. It's not even that someone reminds you. It's that he catches a ball and you're like, "Who is 16?" It's like, "Oh my god, it's T.Y. Hilton." I forgot. I thought that guy retired 5 years ago.
I'm just living with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, honestly.
We're not together. The thing that both worries me and makes me believe in the Cowboys is that throughout this season, they have looked like literally the best team in the NFL one week, and then losing to the Texans the next week. And you just don't know.
Yeah,
Like
and
they went into
it all
Minnesota, and I know Minnesota was fraudulent, but they slaughtered them.
yeah,
40-3 against anybody is
it's
that's
a
like
good
we
yeah,
are the better team, like
yeah.
and a lot better. And then like the Texans game where they had that game lost, and even the Jags game, like they
Uh,
were up big and
and
scored it.
even the Colts game, the final score, I mean, they dropped 50 and it's a blowout, but late in the third, it's a close game. It's a one possession game.
Mhm.
So that's the if it all like I feel like no other team relies on their quarterback as much as the Cowboys
Yeah,
do. If
and if he
Dak,
comes out and shits the bed and throws 2 picks early, they're
they're
done.
they're done
Like they're
for.
ran out of the building.
I 100% agree. And if he doesn't play well and play well throughout the whole, like all 50 minutes, it can't be a halftime performance type of thing.
Mhm.
It needs to be all 50 minutes. And their defense is good. We've seen it all year. So it's got to be the offense scoring these points.
Yeah, and we give them credit for playing well against the Bucks, and they were
We
really
got to
good all
also
around.
remind ourselves that the Bucks were an 8-10 team to finish the
Bucks
season.
were dog shit.
Yeah,
The Niners are the hottest team in the league right now. Probably have the most talent on their roster out of any team.
I agree,
Like
especially offensively.
this is men versus boys we're talking about when we
Hmm.
compare the Bucks and the 49ers. And it's like we gave the Bucks like people were picking the Bucks literally only because of the Tom Brady factor.
Yeah.
If this was a team with like
If it wait, let's say it again. If his name was not Tom Brady, and if it
right,
was
I was trying to think of like a quarterback who at this point is similar to Brady, like the way that he plays.
oh, I mean, if it's Kirk Cousins back there, it's not even close.
Oh yeah,
It's not the
it's like
spread's
Dallas
not even
-8,
yeah,
and all
exactly.
the money's on Dallas.
Mhm. Or I mean, hell, if it's uh
I was thinking Tannehill.
yeah, if it's like
To compare
Tannehill,
Brady to Tannehill
yeah.
feels like
Well,
it's
and
like
it's like it's not like it's a we're not comparing the skill. It's just comparing the way he plays the game, I guess, not the skill or
right.
anything. But yeah, no, you put hell, you put Brock Purdy back there. It's Cowboys minus, and I guess that doesn't look good for the Niners, but the Niners are
But
just
it's more of the team
yeah,
around him.
the
That's
team
why I was
around
saying
him.
if you consider Brady an average quarterback right now,
Hmm.
like that team around him was complete garbage.
Yeah,
Line
and
sucked. The receivers were dramatically underperforming aside from like one game. The defense underperforming. The coach is an idiot. The offensive coordinator is an idiot. The whole thing was a disaster. Quarterback just got divorced.
yeah, no, and that team was just a mess to begin with. That it's funny. I think last week that no one took the yeah, you took the Cowboys. So I was gonna say no one took the Bucks last week for us.
No, I
And
finally was able to like
yeah, just
no.
like yeah, exactly. You just gotta put your foot down and be like, no, you guys
Yeah.
are not winning this game.
Stop it, Tom Brady.
Yeah. And that's what I felt like happened. All right. That does it. Let's run through the wise picks one more time. We have Jags plus 9.5, Giants plus 7.5, the Bills minus 5.5, and the Niners over 46.5 points.
I don't want to jinx it. I've been so bad this year, so like these picks could all be terrible. But I feel like
I
I'm
feel
seeing the
great.
league clearly right now.
Yeah, I feel great. I feel
I
absolutely
might
stunning.
throw some big chunks of money
I'm betting this
in
the
these
second the
games.
podcast is over. I'm betting this parlay.
The
'Cause
only thing that I'm concerned about is betting the Giants because I'm going to be watching with my dad and my
oh
grandparents
yeah,
and my girlfriend. All
all Eagles
Eagles.
fans, and you're like, they score a touchdown, you're like, yes.
And
Everyone
I don't
else
even
around,
want the Giants. Like, I'd rather see the Eagles win just because I have, like, because of my family.
yeah.
Like, I don't want them to win the Super Bowl, but I don't want the Giants to win.
It's funny if we're one game away from the Giants freaking making the Super Bowl again, I think they're just gonna win it.
You know?
I think if they win this week, I think it's just a walk. Like just cancel it. They're gonna win the Super Bowl. It's
I'm like, that's not a bad. If you're taking the Giants money line, just take their freaking
take their Super Bowl odds right now.
See, DraftKings, what do we got?
Yeah, what's their Super Bowl odds looking like? Some other NFL news. Do you see Rodgers? Rodgers is not retiring.
Really?
No, he said on the Pat McAfee show that he wants to win another MVP.
Well, we'll see how he feels in a month. And he's in like Nepal on ayahuasca.
And did you see Mr. Rob Gronkowski, he called him out. He was like, why you wishing for another MVP? You should be wishing for another Super Bowl, you bum."
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, yeah,
Word.
selfish player, honestly. And it'll be interesting to see if he comes back and wants to play for the Packers. I mean, it's him, it's Tom Brady. There's a bunch of the quarterback carousel, I feel like this year. And I feel like it's every year where it's like all of a sudden there's 8 spots open.
Yeah.
Throughout the year, you're like, "Oh, every team has a quarterback." And then it's like, "Nope." The end of the year, it's like,
Right, but
actually,
most of those quarterbacks aren't very good.
yeah, are garbage.
So you have to remind yourself. It's like
Yeah.
there's like 4 elite quarterbacks, and there's like 6 guys that you feel really good about, and then the other 20, you just don't know. Either
Yeah.
suck or they're like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and you're stuck in this purgatory.
Yep.
And everyone's, I mean, like, there's always a way where you can improve. And the
Right.
quarterback's the easiest spot where you can look at and be like, "Oh, well, like if we improve there, we can win this
He
X many
elevates the
games."
skill of all
Yeah,
the team.
yeah, exactly. I
Giants plus 2,500
Oh, I might
in
have
the
to
Super
bet it.
Bowl.
I might have to bet it. That parlayed
That's
with the money
10 to
line
win
this week.
250. I don't think. Could you do that? Like
No, I don't
parlay
think
the
so.
money line every weekend the Super Bowl like that?
Parlay a
I feel
future.
like I feel like the parlay of all the money lines is the Super Bowl odds.
That's actually a good what yeah, what if you
I
could do
don't-
that? You could just be
I
like,
think the book would let you do
yeah,
that.
you could be like, "Actually, I want all
You
these
just
money
trick them
lines."
into giving
Yeah.
me better.
You don't even know the game that they're gonna like, you don't even know who they're gonna play next week. You're just like,
Right,
"Give me
like
the money
parlay
line."
Giants Super Bowl with Giants conference winner with Giants money line this week.
That would be awesome. That would be
Or
awesome.
plus 1,200 to win the NFC. I actually don't hate that.
Plus 1,200 win the NFC, plus 250 to win, or 2,500 to win the
500.
Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
then
Because that's
money
the thing is I
line
worry about
plus
them seeing the
210
Chiefs
money line.
in the
Parlay it
Super
all
Bowl.
together.
Here we go. You just paid your college tuition.
Yeah, honestly. No, you have a good point. You see it like all of us like we get the good run, everyone's all excited, and then they see like Mahomes in the Super Bowl and get their ass blasted.
Right, and yeah, it's like the TCU. It would be like TCU Georgia,
Yeah.
and the Chiefs just shit.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Is that these freaking Giants, I mean, they were the TCU against Georgia, and they won. Freaking won against the New England
Oh,
Patriots.
they were the. Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, they were the TCU. So
Years ago.
yeah, I know. That's the thing though. The brand. I'm just looking at it. I'm like, it's just
I
so
know.
it's too
Very.
similar. It's too similar.
It is, and Daniel Jones literally is Eli Manning.
Yeah, and we've been saying that
Same person.
all his whole career. It's funny though. He's Eli that can run.
Yeah, he's quick.
Yeah.
Did you see the? I think I sent it to you. Pro Football Reference update.
Yes, he's officially Vanilla Vic.
Dimes and Vanilla Vic.
It's also I
He's
love how
made it.
I love how people just call him Dimes too. Like not even just Dimes, and he is too good of nicknames not to keep this close. All right, I think it's time for College Corner.
Whew. That was the most in-depth preview we've done.
Yeah, 40 minutes straight, 4 games. It's pretty impressive. All right,
Want me
you
to
go
take
first.
it?
Yeah, you said you had a good one.
So I have 2. I'll start with last night. So we went out to DC. We were gonna go to this sushi place that looked really cool. It has it's a revolving sushi bar.
That's
Where
cool.
there's a conveyor belt that runs around the restaurant.
Yeah, you just
And
grab
you
it like
just
off
take
the
what
plate.
you want.
Yeah.
And you pay like $3.50 a plate or whatever. We're like, wow, this is awesome. So we go. There's no reservations, so we put our name in. The wait was like an hour.
Oh.
I was like, I haven't eaten all day. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
have
the
to eat.
worst. Yeah.
And we just walked past. Do you know Clyde's by Capital One Arena?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's like, I thought it was like a fancy place, and so we called them. So I was like, oh, well, if we can just get a table there now, like I'd rather do that. We call them, and they're like, oh yeah, no wait. We go in, and I was like, all right, we're gonna get to eat, and it takes like 15 minutes for a waitress to come up, and my girlfriend gets a text on her phone that's like, your table is almost ready at the sushi place.
And you don't have to wait for like the waitresses
And
or anything. You
yeah,
just grab a
and
plate.
we were like, she had her coat on, and we were like ready to just get up and walk away. And as soon as she put her coat on, the waitress comes over with the pitcher of water, fills us up, and is like, "Hey, how are you guys doing? Like, can I start you with
Oh.
anything?" We're like, "Oh, son of a." All right, whatever. That sucks. We're not gonna. I guess we're stuck here. And then their like whatever system they used to take orders was down. I don't understand that because I thought that they just wrote it on a sticky
I was
note
gonna
and, like,
say
slapped
they
it up
can't
on
just
the.
write it on a sticky note. And God
So I was
damn.
like, "What is the deal?" So we ordered, and we literally waited an hour for our food.
Oh.
And in that hour,
Oh.
we got another text from the sushi place that was like, "You're up.
Oh.
Like, your table's ready. Come to the
That is the
restaurant."
worst.
We're like, "Oh my god!" And we had like 3 people come up to us, be like, "Hey, like, are you guys doing okay?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're just waiting for our food." They're like, "Oh well, apologies, our system's down right now, but it's coming. Like, it'll be coming." And he said it's coming like 4 times.
Dude, after like the third time, I'd be like, all right, when is it coming?
Just grab the weight.
Yeah.
When?
When is it? Stop telling me it's coming when it's not coming.
Yeah,
And it's like,
it got to that point where like I was so hungry that I was just like, I didn't even feel
delirious.
like a real person. I was
Yeah.
like, what is going? Like, am I doing this right now? Like, am I ever gonna eat? I might just spend the night here and never get food. But then our entrees come out before the appetizer. And she was like, like it's still coming. And we're like, no, it's not.
Yeah, just tell us
stop
it's
telling
not.
us that
Yeah.
it's coming. Literally an hour and 30 minutes it took for our entree. And the appetizer that we got was like the Mediterranean platter. It had hummus, feta, bread, and veggies. Like nothing had to be cooked.
What?
Like,
You're like,
literally
slap that
like,
shit on a plate and bring it over
drive
here.
back to the kitchen and just like take
Dude,
the pita.
yeah, I'll just do it myself.
Eat it back there. It's just it can't be that much work. And then I saw before our entrees come out, I saw a server come up and give food to this family that had gotten there like 30 minutes after us at least.
That's the worst
And
in the world.
I stared
Yeah.
the guy down. And then I realized that he had 2 entrees and they were for us. I was like, holy shit, if these people are getting served before. And then like this group of 6 guys come, they get served in 15 minutes.
I don't
wanted to burn the place down.
I don't understand how the system affects the orders by an hour. It's
That's
either
what doesn't
like
make any
if the
sense.
system's down, you either have the food or you don't. Like the food is still getting cooked at the same rate. It doesn't matter if I
And
walk
what
up.
the fuck is the system?
What
It's
is
not like
this?
she put it in on an iPad. She wrote it down. I watched her with her pen. She just slapped that shit up in the kitchen.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It was unbelievable. But we got a free dessert out of it.
Oh, okay.
And like
That's
3
nice.
hours at the restaurant.
Yeah, you had a
So,
nice bonding
got our
time.
money's worth, I
Nah,
guess.
nice
Yeah.
bonding time.
It was a good bonding time.
Oh,
But we were both really excited about the sushi place.
yeah, that's a
Like,
shame.
we'll just
You
we'll
gotta
just
try
go
it
a different
again.
time,
Yeah, you gotta
but
try it
it's not.
again.
And the other thing that sucked is like we got there and realized that if you just download their mobile app, you can put your name in.
Oh,
So we could have just done it like on the metro
hour
and then
ago,
get
yeah.
there. Yeah. So
Well.
it was just like kick to the groin after kick to
Yeah.
the groin after kick to the groin.
You live and you learn, though.
And then I realized that I got charged like $10 extra for getting chicken on my pasta.
Oh, that should have been free. After the shit that you went through, that should have been free.
Because they ask you if you want chicken on there, and I'm like, of course I want chicken on there, but they never would sell you
No, they'd never be like, that's
by
also
the
10
way,
extra bucks. Yeah.
like extra 10 bones. Like,
That-
you know what, I'm
you
just gonna
got
go without
you.
13
Yeah.
then.
Talk about that. That is a kick to the balls. Everything about that.
Yeah, the whole thing was a sham. So, if we're doing a meal review like you do on Twitter, food was good, but overall restaurant
Service.
should be
Service.
condemned,
Yeah, honestly.
burned to the ground.
God damn.
And I wanted to go there because my mom, every time we go to a hockey game, we like see Clyde's because it's like right outside the arena, and she's like, "That's like the upscale spot before the game." I was like, "Oh, this will be a great spot to have dinner."
Nope. Should have gone to Shake Shack.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, should have gone to Shake
At
Shack.
one point, my girlfriend was like, "If you just want to get up and like go get Chipotle, like that's fine with me." We like seriously considered it.
Was it
Like,
just
this
you
place
two?
can lick my ass. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, yeah, bonding experience. You
Right. So
make it.
it was like it was annoying at first, and then it was like fun because we were like just waiting for our food, talking, and then I just hit a point where I was like,
No, you think you're in a
I might just
Seinfeld
have to
episode.
like
You're like,
commit
what's going on
homicide in
here?
this
Yeah.
building. I was ready to just like start throwing shit.
Oh man.
And the waitress was so nice, of course.
Yeah,
But it's like
so
you
it's like
couldn't like yell at
you
her.
couldn't be mad at her. It's
Yeah,
not her fault. She's not the one cooking the food that's taking forever.
I
Just
know.
her damn system's down, I guess.
we had two managers come up to us and be like, "You guys doing okay?" And we're like,
No, no, not at
No.
all.
"Can I
Starving.
please have the pita bread."
Can I just get some bread? Something. Oh,
But yeah, it was a total disaster. So Clyde's 0 stars. Not be going back. And I'm not picky with restaurants at all. Like if you have food,
I'll eat it.
I usually enjoy it, and if your prices are reasonable, yeah. But that's a fat 0 star. My second college corner, positive one. We had
Basketball.
Michigan
Yeah.
come to town Wednesday.
You want wait,
We get there.
before you
ahead.
continue. You want to know why they won? Because
Why?
my mom, I told you, is she started
on it?
yeah, she bet on Michigan. And
You bet on Michigan?
yes,
The
and
whole public did.
she was riding with my brother's friend Pat, apparently been on fire all week. And
Oh well.
my
yeah.
mom has bad luck, and she's like mad at herself because she keeps betting these bad bets. And she's like, "Well, let me ride with Pat." And she even said it. She was like, "I'm gonna be bad luck to Pat." And my brother was like, "You'll be fine. Like Pat's doing great.
Yeah.
It'll be
When
fine."
someone's hot, you gotta jump on.
Yeah, and then she jumped on, and it fell right off.
I'm gonna take the boys on Sunday.
Take the cat. Yeah, I will. I'll tell her to get the Cowboys. All right.
So we go. Students are still on break, so it's not crowded. It's like the student section's not, but we still get there early to get good seats. And we're sitting in the very front row, which is awesome. Like we've done it before, but we were in the like half court front row, and gave chirped Hunter Dickinson a little bit. Did I explain the Hunter Dickinson situation?
I believe so,
He's
but for the people who
the math.
didn't hear it.
He was a DeMatha kid who
Oh, actually, no, I didn't hear this.
Turgeon like didn't really recruit him out of high school. He held a grudge. Like he went to Michigan and then was like freshman of the year and talked all this shit about Turgeon, and like when they played him, like trash talked him to his face.
Really?
Just like a boner of a kid.
Yeah. What the
Because
hell?
they had like at the time he was being recruited, we had already signed 2 kids at his position, these twins. Ended up transferring, so we looked stupid for doing it. But like he wouldn't have played.
Yeah.
I guess like he would have beat them out in camp, but the roster didn't have room for him. So that's why he wasn't being recruited. But he like took it so personally for no reason. It's like you're having success anyway. Why do you even care? Like Michigan was way better than Maryland. And he like wouldn't give it up, even though Turgeon's gone now. He's like, yeah, like I don't know, I still resent them for it. Just like absolute boner of a kid.
Yeah. It's like it's a whole new coaching staff. It's a whole new, like these are not the
And
guys.
like
That's
stuff.
ridiculous.
Like there was one time tonight where he hit a bucket, and like I don't even know if I'm allowed to do this on the podcast, but he like went like that.
To you guys? To like the student section?
He hit no, just like in general.
What a turd, bro. What
And
an
if you're listening to
absolute
the audio
turd.
version,
He did the
I'm not gonna
old
explain.
yeah, he did the old handshake motion.
He yanked the chain.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty foul actually.
that's egregious.
So yeah, he got booed every time he touched the ball. But anyway, the cool part of the game, I went up to go get food. Me and my buddy Wes, we go to every game, and
Unselled?
he's like, "Yeah,
Nice.
come on."
Nice.
And he was like, they have this wheel, this Xfinity wheel.
Yeah.
You spin, and like the grand prize is your seat gets upgraded to the suite. We were walking around looking for food, and he's like, "Oh, there it is. There's the wheel." And we go up, and the lady was like just setting it up. and it's not even a real wheel. You scan a QR code and you spin the online wheel. He's like,
Oh,
"Has
so
anyone
it's
won
just
the
like
prize yet?"
luck. It's just like it's not even luck. It's just like they pick and choose who they want to give it to.
He's like, "Has anyone won the prize yet?" And he's like, or she's like, "No, not yet." We're like, "Well, what do you have to do?" And she's like, "If you just spin a one, and there's 6 numbers,
Yeah.
spin the wheel, and if you get a one, you get the suite." I pulled it up on my phone. There goes the wheel. Lands on one, and I was like, "Oh, I got it."
Holy
And we were
shit.
like, "Wait a minute, did that just happen?" She was like, "All right, congratulations, guys. I don't have actual tickets for you, but if you just go to Suite 16, tell Kenny that Sam sent you, and like, you have anyone else with you?" And we're like, "Yeah, like we got one more guy." He's like, "All right, well, 3 of you, that's fine." So we run down, and we're like, "Gosh, like, you want to go sit in the suite?"
Yeah.
Like, yes. So we all ran up. We leave our first row seats.
I was gonna say you already have the best seats in the house.
I know, but suite was catered. Chicken tenders, potato wedges, chicken wings, mac and cheese, brownies, drinks, chips and dip. He ate like kings.
Dude, you were in there like, oh my god. And you got to watch Maryland like, what a night. What a night.
It was perfect. And there was these like 3 old guys behind us. Like, I bet they paid
Top
boatloads of money
dollar.
for this.
Yeah.
And we just spun a wheel.
Especially it's the Michigan game too. Like this
I
is
know.
a holy crap. That's so cool.
It was. I'll show you the view from.
I was
our
gonna say you got a
seats.
picture of it.
Let's see. Make
The
sure to get a picture with the food in it as well.
yeah, I want to see what these tenders look like.
It was like high quality food,
Holy crap. And all for free?
all for free.
That's so sick. That is so cool.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
we were talking about it. We were like, should we leave our seats for this? And this was like, dude, like,
it's
when are
once a
we gonna sit
lifetime.
in this
Yeah.
again?
Yeah, once in a lifetime
I was
opportunity.
like, fair enough. Like, if we get there early enough, we can sit in the first row
Every time, yeah.
if we really want to.
Yeah.
Sweet, you can't just stroll up.
No, you can't just roll up in there. The South Carolina would never do that. I don't know why. They just would never do it. It's just something that I just know. Like, there's no wheels. There's no fanfare around
Mhm.
the arena or really nothing. Like, God, I'm so mad at my team.
I saw the tweets.
I'm just so because everyone is such a bozo at the game. Like, I'm out there. I'm loud. I'm proud. And people are telling me to sit down. They're like heckling me. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I'm out here trying to I'm trying to give these guys some motivation to go out there and win. And it's the energy before the game. I looked at my buddy Riley. I was like, dude, this is the worst energy I've ever felt in any game ever. Like it felt like we were at a funeral.
What, the Ole Miss game?
Yeah, and it was like, I know we got blown out by 4. So I get it. Like the past 4 games have been blown out by 40 at home, 43 at home. We beat Kentucky, and then that gets our emotions up. We go to the next home game, we get blown out by 41, and then we get blown out by 12 in the Mississippi game. But like you gotta at least try. You gotta
If you're
try
gonna
to be
go to the
support.
game,
Yeah, that's
though.
the thing. Like if you're
Like,
not,
if you're that
just
upset, then
don't go.
go.
Yeah, just don't go. Don't go, and then be a turd when you're there.
Yeah.
Like and I just think the arena is just way too big for our
Yeah.
team. It's bigger than like half the SEC stadiums, and it's great for concerts, but it just does not fill up. Like
Yeah.
looking at the Old Miss game, I was looking at I was looking at Riley, and I was like, hey, is anyone gonna come here? I was looking at the seats. I was like, is anyone gonna be here? And
That's how we felt the other night, but Maryland is such a late arriving crowd because of the Beltway.
yeah,
Like, if people get on work, they don't get on the road till 5:30, and then you get stuck in traffic, and then like you gotta park, find your seat. So like at tip off, it looks like a terrible crowd, and then it fills up a little bit.
we've gotten to
We
the
haven't
point
had a
where
sellout yet, but
there's a guy. He's like Gamecock Jesus. That's what they call him. He's this old guy, big beard. He has a bandana. He has a flag that he throws up and down. And I hope he's not in poor health or anything, but he hasn't been to the game since the Tennessee game. And if he's given up,
Oh,
then if he's given up, then there's just no hope. There's
yeah,
literally no hope.
that's sad.
Uh yeah, and I mean he's in our promotional videos, and like if he's not coming, there's really nothing to do.
That's like the flag suit guy at Maryland.
Oh, is that what
This
he's
kid.
wearing the
Have you
flag
seen
suit?
him on? Yeah.
Dude, flag suit.
He's
That
actually such a tool, but
really is he a student or is he an adult?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Flag suit. It's funny. The flag, even as a person from Maryland, the flag has just been so overrated to me.
Dude, it gets old.
I'm sure
And
it
we do
does.
the flag drop every game. And
What's the
every
flag
game.
drop?
So you know what our student section looks like? The big wall
Yeah.
behind the basket.
Yeah.
So they drop at the under 16 timeout in the second half. They do this hype video, and they roll down the flag.
Yeah.
Like, down the student section. Everyone like.
Yeah, they do it at
dun,
football
dun,
games.
dun, dun.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Same thing. But it's every game, and every time I see people like taking videos of it.
It's like, dude,
I guess maybe if you don't go to games that often, it's cool.
we're also
Someone
we're
goes-
so like we are so biased to like what, you just don't show up to every game? Like, what's your problem?
All right. Well, in all fairness, I like as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna buy season tickets. Like I'm still not gonna miss games
Fair.
as long as I'm.
I
in
will
this
not be
area.
buying season tickets to the Gamecocks. I will say
feel
that
like
right now.
Like I can complain about stuff because I'm still gonna be going to games, but I like when you're doing it against UMBC, it's just not that exciting.
Yeah.
Like save it for the big games.
Yeah. Make it mean something.
Like when Purdue comes to town, roll that flag down.
Yeah.
And St. Peter's does, like, just take a day off.
Relax on the
And
flag.
it's the same, like it's the same hype video, it's the same song every time, and it's just like, I don't know, it's not that exciting for me.
We are so
And I don't
spoiled
even,
for
like-
our basketball love. Like we're just so I just expect everyone to be as excited as I am.
Oh, I know, and that's my
Dude.
biggest flaw is like I see people that, you know what drives me the worst is
Huh.
people that talk during free throws. I just want to punch them in the
Dude.
face.
Dude, wait, but you guys do the old like everyone still does that, right? We clap and you do the
Right,
twirly
but
fingers.
sometimes people will be like, I don't know, and like
Ah,
talk during,
dude,
like
like,
shut
yeah,
up. I don't even care if you're whispering.
yeah.
Do not speak.
One time in one of the games, I was chirping one of the other players, and our player was taking a free throw. I learned my lesson real quick. He bricked that free throw very hard.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
One
all
of my
right,
friends
sorry."
thought like I would like nudge and be
Yeah,
like,
dude.
"You gotta
Yeah.
hit these free throws.
He's got to hit him.
You need all the help they can get. Like,
Yes.
don't shoot free throws.
Yes. Oh man.
But I feel a little bit entitled. I feel like I have some power because after the first football game, they sent out a survey. It was like, what do you want to see? Like, how was the game day experience? Yada yada yada. And then at the end, it was like, do you have any other like questions, suggestions for the game day experience? And do you know how sometimes like at stadiums on the video board they'll do like a funny little animated video of like your team's logo that like bounces up and it like crushes the other team's logo and then it,
Yeah,
like,
we
gets
don't do that, but
everybody
yeah, I know what you're saying.
hyped. So I wrote after the first football game, we didn't do it, and I wrote in the little box, I was like, it would be fun if we were to do a little like
Yeah, like a little
animated
yeah.
video of the Testudo like coming in and squashing the other team like they used to do that, and it was fun. Next football game, sure enough, there it is. It was against SMU.
That's awesome.
And like the Mustang is like walking through McKeldin Mall, and then Testudo out of nowhere, boom! I was like,
That's
was
it.
like
That's
the-
me. That's me.
Leonardo DiCaprio like
Yeah.
pointing at the dude, and I was like trying to tell everyone around me. I was like, I suggested this. This is my doing.
That's
I
awesome.
literally wrote it,
That's awesome.
and now they do it every game.
That's pretty cool.
So,
I-
yeah,
I feel like-
I have power.
I feel like I do too. I mean, the fact that players know me now, like I before we get lost again.
I had one more thing,
Okay.
just about my power.
Yeah,
as a
you go
fan.
first, and then I'll take South Carolina.
The Illinois game that we went to, when I was dressed up as Kevin Willard, I talked to like every person that walked by, to like our radio announcer, the actual announcers of the game, Robbie Hummel. He does a lot of the Big Ten network games, and I was like, "Hey, like, what's up, Robbie?" And then he was doing this pass game, and while we were still sitting down on the floor, like, I yelled something at Hunter Dickinson. I think I said like, "The NBA doesn't want you," and he like looked back and he smiled at me.
Nice.
I was like, "Oh, Robbie Hummel liked that one."
Yeah, that was a
And
good
then he
one.
like turned to the other guy, and the other guy looked back too. And like they weren't like they didn't like give me a weird look.
No,
like,
they're-
come on, dude.
they're
They were
probably
like
like,
they thought
yeah.
it was funny.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, like you're right. Like the NBA does not want.
Does
him.
not want him.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome.
I feel like I know everyone down there now.
That's so like the announcers aren't quite like they ignore me, but it seems like like all the like people I think know the stupid kid in the Gamecocks jersey who just like because I'm the loudest person in the freaking stadium. So
when
the
you're just a naturally loud person,
yeah I am.
especially being the only one that's
It's loud. No, and like like when I'm with like my friends, they're like, dude, like what do you do? I'm like, dude, I'm cheering for my team and destroying I'm dunking on the other team verbally. And I have no shame. I just have no shame in what I'm saying. No. Even when it's like I scream brick and they drain a 3 in front of my face, like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like opposing players will like look at me afterwards and be like, "You see that?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, dude, yeah, I saw it." Like I'm not
like
watching.
you're gonna stoop down to my level.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're the one playing out here, man. I'm glad I'm in your head. No, and dude, there was this kid. He was number 3 on Old Miss, and it was still when it was a close game. And this guy, I mean, he airballed, he threw it out of bounds, and like it was over. I have the power to bench players because if I'm like dogging them enough, they will get benched. And this kid, I'm just like he's coming up on defense. I'm yelling at him. And there he was, straight to the bench. And it was funny. I was like going, "Get off the court. Get off the court." And everyone around me's like, "No, stay on the court. Stay on the court. Keep this." That's way too many times. We had the Auburn Tiger today. And
3:30.
3:30.